Opera Camp is a 2-week summer camp that happens here at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, in which students are developing training in singing, in acting, and movement, all of the things that you need to be a great opera performer. And it all culminates at the end of these 2 weeks in a performance of an opera that they have all essentially spent 2 weeks putting together. It is a series of classes in singing, it is lessons in movement, in acting, it is the staging experience from our resident stage director, Eli. The Opera Camp experience is somewhat of a dual one. It is both part performance and part social justice oriented. On the social justice side, we are really looking at building socially minded artists in these students. And so our operas are always focused on points in time or points in history in which there were major social movements, the Holocaust, Civil Rights Act. And within that, we also bring in people who can speak to those experiences firsthand. We have field trips that are planned in which we're actually balancing the performance aspects with the more social justice-minded pieces that we're trying to impart upon the students. The opera that they're going to be performing is Brundibar. This was an opera that was performed in concentration camps during the Holocaust and was performed by children who were in these camps for several years. This is something that has been performed at Opera Camp for a very long time. Since this is our first year in a while in person, we're really excited to be bringing this opera back. It's a very impactful opera. We are actually having members of the LA Opera Orchestra performing alongside the students for this final performance of Brundibar at the end of the 2 weeks. It's very exciting. I'm super excited.
Opera Camp is an inclusive opportunity for those who might find interest in music, singing, performing live on stage.
I think it's unique in that while there is an audition, as long as you audition and we have a spot, you're in. It's not an audition to get in. You don't have to be at a certain level to be in. If you have the desire and the want, you can be there.
Anyone can sign up, 9 to 17. You are welcome to join us no matter what your experience is.
Dear Mommy, you should see how we grow strong and fair. To think about the past, maybe you do not care.
We at Opera Camp try to create an environment in which they learn how to focus. We start with a warm-up. They have a physical warm-up, they're stretching, they're waking up their bodies. Then we go to vocal warm-ups. Then after a few days, we start to add the music rehearsals, and we help them to learn the music.
As we move into staging rehearsals in the afternoon, I then become more the conductor role to give them what they need to succeed when they're up there on their feet.
On this shore I am the star.
The Opera League has been around for about 40 years. It actually predates the company, and it's the primary volunteer organization for LA Opera. Our members help out at events, cast dinners, seminars, events like Opera Camp Today.
The Opera League is one of Connect's greatest partners, supporters, cheerleaders. They provide numerous amounts of support to Connect's programming across the board. One of the things that they do just on a rolling basis for us is providing a lot of support in terms of subsidizing for transportation, for schools, for nonprofit groups to come to the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion to participate in performances, dress rehearsals. We have a wonderful program called Community Educators, in which Opera League members are spreading the gospel of opera out in the community, and we partner with them to actually provide free lectures to nonprofits, to libraries, to schools, whoever wants to actually hear more about the operas that we're presenting. The Opera League is also a major supporter for Opera Camp in that they do a lot of fundraising for us. And that fundraising support actually goes towards providing scholarships for all of our students. And so we hope to make Opera Camp as accessible as possible from a financial standpoint so that we can fill in the rest in terms of education, and Opera League is playing a major role in making that happen. I think that they are a great volunteer organization.
The Opera League puts on an annual fundraising event called the Peter Hemmings Dinner, which is named after the founder of LA Opera. We typically will honor someone who has made a contribution both to the company and to Southern California opera community at large. And the proceeds from that event then go to support the Opera Camp. For the Opera Camp, we provide scholarships for the kids who can attend. And then the fundraising throughout the year also goes to support the bus fund that brings kids to the various opera rehearsals, the dress rehearsals, and for college students, the technical rehearsals. My first experience with the Opera League was in about 2008. I volunteered with one of the education programs. And in fact, it was Opera Camp was my very first volunteer experience, and it was Brundabar. So the fact that they're doing Brundabar today at the Opera Camp is kind of special. It was frankly, one of the most moving experiences I had in a theater. I love my day job, but the opera company and the Opera League really feeds my soul, and I love it.